Hellen Keller was born in Tuscumbia, Alabama on June 27, 1880. When Helen was a year old, she had a very high fever. She was very sick.
The illness left Helen blind and deaf. She could not see, she could not hear.
Hellen Keller lived in a dark and silent world.
Helen could not hear other people speak, so she could not talk.
Helen touched things to find out about the world around her.
Helen could not let others know what she wanted or how she felt. She would cry and scream in her dark, silent world. Helen's parents took Helen to many doctors. No one could help them. One day they learned of a special teacher.
Helen's teacher was Annie Sullivan. She came to teach Helen when Helen was 7 years old.
I had to find a way to reach Helen. I needed to find a way to help Helen communicate.
Annie taught Helen a special alphabet.
I will give Helen a doll, then I will spell the word into Helen's hand.
At first, Helen did not understand.
Then one day we passed by a water pump. I put Helen's hand in the water. I spelled the word water into Helen's hand over and over again.
At last, Helen understood what Annie was trying to teach her.
Helen learned very fast. She learned words for mother, father, and teacher.
In later years, Helen wrote, "The day I learned the word water was the day I discovered light, hope, and joy."
I taught Helen thousands of words. I taught her to read by feeling a series of raised dots on the page.
This system of reading is called Braille. Helen learned to read very fast.
Helen became famous around the world. Everyone called her the Wonder Girl.
When Helen was 10 years old, she decided that she wanted to learn how to speak.
Helen could not hear any speech sounds. She could not hear the sounds that she was making. Helen did learn to speak, but she could not always speak clearly.
When Hellen Keller was 20 years old, she went to college.
I sat next to Helen and spelled everything that was said in each class into Helen's hand.
Helen was an excellent student. She studied many long hours.
While Helen was in college, she wrote her autobiography entitled The Story of My Life. Once Helen wrote, "Knowledge is happiness."
Hellen Keller graduated from college in 1904. By then, she was even more famous. People wanted to meet this remarkable woman.
Helen and I traveled all around the world. Helen lectured before large audiences. She told people about her life.
Hellen Keller wrote many books and magazine articles about her life. She worked hard to help other blind people. She worked for the American Federation for the Blind for many years.
In 1936, Annie Sullivan died. She had been Helen's teacher for more than 50 years. Polly Thomas, Annie's secretary, became Helen's consistent companion.
During World War II, Helen visited injured soldiers in the hospital.
Helen tried to help soldiers who had lost their sight. She gave them hope.
Hellen Keller wrote that helping the wounded soldiers was the crowning experience of her life.
Hellen Keller met many important people. She met kings, queens, and presidents. Hellen Keller won many special awards. In 1964, President Lyndon Johnson gave Helen the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Hellen Keller died on June 1st, 1968. She was 88 years old. She had lived a full and rich life.
Hellen Keller could not see or hear. She did not let this stop her. She wrote many books and even learned to ride a bicycle.
Hellen Keller loved to read. She enjoyed learning. She also enjoyed swimming. Hellen Keller brought love and hope to millions of handicapped people around the world.
This remarkable woman was admired by the love throughout the world. The end.